Hey everybody, I decided to do a video on baby products that I could not live without. Kind of like the necessities, I guess, that aren't really necessities. Like if I didn't have them, I would have been fine. Oh, Caleb's coming to say hi. Say hi. Yeah. Come here, you can sit with me. Okay, the first thing that I had on my list was a bouncer. His bouncer was pretty neat because it vibrated and bounced itself and played sounds, and it was given to me from my grandparents, so I didn't pay anything for it. Yeah? I liked it because when he actually used it, I could put him in there and take a shower, like cook dinner, watch TV. I mean, there's everything. I could just put him in there, and I didn't ever really use the music or the bouncing thing. That I didn't use. And then his had like the little bar that goes over the top, and I hung not just the toys that came with it, like they had like these little bears that came with it. I would hang like jingle toys and everything like that on there. I think another thing that goes like hand in hand with the bouncer seat is a swing, because I could put him in it and he would just chill until, you know, whenever, especially when he was newborn, because I felt like when he was newborn I didn't know where he needed to be. What are you doing? Another thing that I think I'm very glad that I have was a playmat, and mine was not anything fancy. Mine was given to me, and it was like an older style one, but I washed it up, cleaned it up, and I mean, they all do the same thing. You hang toys from them and it entertains them. Sorry, I have this happening right now, crawling all over me. But I was very glad I had it, because when I was with his dad, we had hardwood floors, and I didn't really know how to go about giving him like tummy time and stuff, because it's hard floors, and you don't want to bust their face on it. But with that, I could put a blanket underneath it and then put that there too. Next on my list is a Boppy pillow. When he came home from the hospital, he was breastfed. So this was a huge help, because for whatever reason, breastfeeding made me tired. I would pass out in the beginning. So I would prop him up, and like I had a queen size bed, so he wasn't going anywhere. Another reason is because I took him just, you have to think, which if you've had kids you understand, you don't lift anything when you're pregnant. So you go like 9-10 months of getting no muscle in your arms because you're not lifting anything. So then when you go from that to holding like a 7-8 pound baby non-stop, it gets a little, you're not used to it. So I would prop my arm up on the Boppy, and that's how I would feed him. Then as he got older, yeah, what, he's gonna dance for us. Shake it. Press the button. Which button do you want? That's the song. Dance. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Okay, but the Boppy pillow, once he got bigger and I stopped breastfeeding him, which I'll probably explain that one day in a video why I don't breastfeed him anymore, I would prop him up on it, which I'm sure you've seen everybody do. I never used it for him to like learn how to sit up because it never provided enough support. It would slide. So I never used it for that. I did use it because he has he's had gastroesophageal reflux like since he was born, but he didn't get diagnosed with it until later on. And that really sucks for anybody who's going through that. It sucks. He still has problems with it, but it's a lot better than it was. So I would put it in his bassinet and it fit perfectly, and it would help him prop up a little bit. So, like, everything was, I don't know, clearer. And if he did spit up, which he spit up all the time, non-stop, several times in an hour, would cover himself. So I would put the Boppy pillow in there for that. I also have on here pacifiers. I originally was okay with pacifiers when I was pregnant. I said, you know, it's better than him like screaming and crying all the time. And my nieces had pacifiers, so I didn't see any, you know, problem with it. And his dad was absolutely against it. His dad's mom was against it. Was convinced that I was like gonna give him a binky till he was like 5, because that's all I ever heard about was he doesn't need to be walking around with a binky. The first night home from the hospital, he was up from like 1 in the morning until like 5, screaming nonstop. And that's when his dad broke down and said, "Let's give him the binky." And at that point, I was like, yeah, okay, let's do it. We're gonna give him the binky, and we got some sleep. He was a binky baby up until right before his first birthday, and he lost one. I just bought a pack of 2, and he lost one, both of them. But when he lost the second one, I was like, I said, I'm not buying anymore. And if you've seen my what's in my diaper bag, you can actually see that I still have one in there. But he has not had a binky since then. It was very easy. It just disappeared, and he doesn't talk, so he doesn't like ask for it. And everything was, he still goes to sleep on his own, and most of the time, and I mean, we don't really have any issues with transitioning from it. Another what I needed to have item was Lanzano, I think is how you pronounce it. It's just like nipple cream for when you're breastfeeding, because when I was breastfeeding, that was my lifesaver. I used it non-stop all the time. I was always putting it on my nipples several times a day. Like after I breastfed, every moment I could think about it, because it stopped them from cracking and drying out. So that was a huge lifesaver. I know a lot of people say to put breast milk on the nipples, but it didn't really work for me. I don't know. And I found that the Lanzano worked, so I just stuck with that. A diaper genie. This was a lifesaver. I don't want to say lifesaver because right now I don't have one. It's actually the one that I use is at my dad's. So I use my trash just to put the diapers in. And oh my god, it stinks so bad. And mine has a lid. My trash can has a lid, and it is horrible. I have to like take my trash out. Usually the trash isn't full when I take my trash out, and it's horrible. So definitely I suggest a diaper genie. Now if you breastfeed, the poop usually doesn't stink until you introduce solids. Formula fed babies and any baby that is on like a solid food or people food, their poop is very, very stinky. I would say worse than like grown adult poop, probably because it's like smashed. TMI, I know, but one of the biggest things that was like a must-have was receiving blankets, and it's not for like the reasons that you think. Yes, we did use them because he spit up all the time. When I packed my diaper bag when he was younger, I would pack like 4 in the diaper bag, and then he would have one, and I usually had one in my car because that is how much he spit up. I've had it to where he spit up and covered me, his bed, like whatever I was sitting on, soaked his receiving blanket to where it was soaking wet, and spit up. And that actually happened when we were at the hospital one time, because I thought he might have been dehydrated because he was sick and wouldn't eat anything, and the doctor told me that that is not throw up, that is still spit up. Another reason is because he is a blankie baby. I noticed this around 2 to 3 months old. I like laid a receiving blanket down on him because I thought it was kind of chilly, and he grabbed it and like nuzzled his little face in it and then passed out and went to sleep. And then ever since then he's had to have his blankie to fall asleep. Now not so much, but if he's having like, I don't know, I always give it to him just in case. It comforts him. It's always comforted him. There'll be times where he don't even want me. He just wants me to put him down, and when he was on his binky, give him his binky, and he had to have his blankie. That was his must-have. Thank you. Thank you. That is my video of my must-haves. I'm sure I'm missing a few things. I really tried to plan this out as much as I could, but besides, like, I mean, food, diapers, clothes, the, like, necessities, that was the stuff that made my life a lot easier. Oh, and a bumbo seat, that was a big thing. Slipped my mind. I haven't used his in a while. I haven't even seen his in a while, but the bumbo seat, which if you don't know what a bumbo seat is, it's just like a little seat that helps him learn to sit up. And that was helpful for when he didn't want to lay down anymore. He wanted to sit up, but he didn't have the muscles to sit up on his own. I could stick him in that, and you know, he wasn't going to go anywhere. So if you have any questions, video requests, just post them in the comments. I always love to hear feedback.